Washington Grown is brought to you by the Potato Farmers of Washington. Learn why Washington is home to the world's most productive potato fields and farmers by visiting potatoes.com. And by Northwest Farm Credit Services, supporting agriculture and rural communities with reliable, consistent credit and financial services today and tomorrow. And by the Washington State Department of Agriculture's Office of the State Aquaculture Coordinator, supporting the viability and vitality of Washington agriculture.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Gordson and welcome to Washington Grown. What's a better place to feature Washington's locally grown onions than right here at the Onion TapHouse and Grill in downtown Spokane. They incorporate fresh Washington produce in each of their dishes.
We'll visit Walla Walla to learn what makes the Walla Walla sweet onion so special.
Sorting onions, baby.
And I'll cook a classic onion dish at the Onion.
A little booze, little onion.
For the chef or for the soup?
I mean, the boss is gonna be around today, so let's not.
Then Tomas will visit Walla Walla River Packing, where onions are processed before heading to the market.
You literally can eat them like an apple.
Yeah, I've done so.
All this and more today on Washington Grown.
Bon appetito! Bon appetito! There are no fingers in there
There's no
either,
fingers
so
in it,
it's
and they still look green.
This is happy food right here.
That is heaven on a fork.
Look at that smile. Oh, I've never done that before.
Got my hard hat on. Let's go.
Okay.
Right in the heart of downtown Spokane, you'll find The Onion. This iconic restaurant has served Spokane for years as a family-friendly hub of great food and rich history.
I've been coming here since 1975.
Some unique but local flavors, which I like a lot.
When you think of Spokane and being downtown and what's fun, the Onion would be absolutely on the list.
It's been around for a long time in downtown Spokane, right?
Yes, over 41 years.
Owner Christy Belisle knows that the history behind The Onion is half of the charm.
It was originally the Union Tavern.
Okay.
And the sign needed to be repainted. There wasn't a lot of money to paint. So the painter, the sign creator suggested, why don't you just close in that U and make it the Onion? So that's how it became the Onion. That is historical truth.
The food is delicious and the atmosphere. I mean, look at this place.
The food's great, the atmosphere is great. Here it seems like there's more effort put into making the food and making sure the ingredients are, theirs.
It's just a cool place to be.
But along with the history of The Onion comes some secrets as well.
A little side note on the French onion soup.
Okay.
After you're pregnant for so long, you're done being pregnant, have a bowl of the French onion soup.
Oh yeah?
Yes. It has helped a few of us go into labor.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously.
So there's some onion lore.
There
We
is.
have the French onion soup.
Yes. Some of those mamas are ready to be
Yes,
done.
they're like, okay,
Yes.
take me to the onion.
They
please.
are.
Later in the show, Chef Lance and I will be making The Onion's famous French onion soup and bacon-wrapped onion rings.
Do you have any tricks on how to keep them from making you cry?
I've been working on that since I started here about 5 years
Haven't
ago,
come
and
up with anything?
I haven't found anything yet.
That's awesome.
We're down in Walla Walla, where nothing is sweeter than an onion. More specifically, a Walla Walla sweet onion. Hey everyone, I'm here with Paul Castoldi of Castoldi Family Farms in Walla Walla, way down here in the bottom corner of the state. What is it about this region that makes growing Walla Walla sweet so special?
Something with the soils and the climate, because you can take that seed and plant it other places and it won't be as sweet, or it won't be like your Walla Walla sweet that's raised here.
It's gotta be from here.
These onions are what overwintered. You usually plant them in early September, and they're pretty winter hardy.
Just based on the looks of this field now, is this looking like a good year?
Yes, they're sizing up nice. They'll put 3 buckets in one of these sacks.
Gotcha. And then they'll just sit here to dry.
If it's nice like in the 80s and 90s, 3 to 4 days. We're the ones grabbing the bags. So we're lifting these 60-some pound sacks.
This just seems like really grueling work. Is there any machination involved at all?
The only mechanization is we use a tractor to undercut the onions. to loosen the ground so they can pull the onions up easier. But the sweet onion is so soft and bruises so easy that we don't have a machine that would be able to handle them easy enough that you're not going to be bruising them. My grandpa bought this place in 1924, and the first sweet onion crop was in 1926. There's been continuous onions on this place since then.
It's a long time for a little plot of earth to continue using onions. And how old were you when you started?
Well, I had a regular job and decided to go back to farming, so I've been doing it since 1990.
I understand that you have no problem just eating these things like an apple, is that correct?
That's correct. I have to taste test our product to see how sweet they are.
Right.
So every now and then, especially if we move from different fields, I always just bite into the onions and see if it's going to be sweet or not. We plant these bulbs in the fall, and then in the spring, when they are mature and ready to pick, they'll start bursting open, and you can actually see the little onion seeds.
So are these seeds right here, are they going to be the ones planted in here in August?
Some of them will. If we have enough seed that carry over, we usually the best seed is usually second, third year seed that you keep stored.
Now let's head over and help sort some onions at the sorting table. What are we looking for?
Well, we've got mediums we put in the middle of our sorting table, and the jumbos on the sides.
You're basically just sorting by size at this point.
Well, and the number twos. Like this got nicked probably with the tractor in the field or whatever. And so we throw those out.
Oh, I see. So then you guys have these bags here, right?
Yes, and depending on our orders, these are all 50-pound bags at the moment.
How many of these bins do you guys do in a day?
We've done up to 14 with our little crew. Nice. A lot of it averages 9 or 10 bins a day.
Wow, that is a day, gentlemen. All right. Sorting onions, baby.
Our sorting table like this allows us to touch every onion.
A human is actually making sure that every one of these guys is quality before it goes in the bag. That's pretty special. Well, Paul, I want to thank you so much for doing what you do, raising incredible onions for the rest of us to enjoy. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey, let's go. It's great to travel the world and experience different cultures through their food. But here at Don Lucho's, owner Carlo is bringing Peru to you. Tell me about Don Lucho's.
Peruvian food is virtually unknown in the Pacific Northwest, so I figured, why wait for the people to come to me? I'd rather go to the people.
How do I know it's Peruvian when I eat it?
I would say the spices, but these peppers are very particular from the area, and they are really what gives the Peruvian essence to what we're serving.
Aren't onions kind of a big piece of it too?
They are a big piece.
Don Lucho's signature sandwich is the flame steak. This spicy treat is piled high with onions, tomatoes, and a sauce made from Peruvian peppers. Which one's mine?
Yours is the mild.
Oh, so you assumed I like mild.
Well, hey, if you want some spicy, here you go.
No, you assumed right.
I'm Peruvian, so I like spice.
And that sauce is delicious. I love that sauce. It can taste that kind of oniony bite to it. I think I've been missing out.
It has a real kick to it.
All right, so Rebecca, have you had Peruvian food before?
I don't think I have.
I haven't.
Do you like onions?
Love onions.
I usually like them grilled.
Hot dogs, burgers.
Caramelized onions, onion rings.
So I want you to give this sandwich a try. It's got some sliced onions on it, some flame steak.
That was not a TV bite.
It's got a kick to it.
That's really good.
It's very flavorful. There's a multitude of flavors that come together here.
Did you order that sandwich?
Yeah, why not?
Are we a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Very good. Thumbs up.
Preserving the history of our state is a big job, and there's no one more dedicated to the task than Harriet Weber, Director of Operations at the Quincy Valley Historical Society and Museum. Today, she's showing us how important agriculture is to this community.
It's just a real sense of pride for our community to be able to salvage something of our heritage here in town.
And so all this focuses on Quincy agriculture.
Quincy agriculture, yes. Quincy has always been, since the early 1900s, grounded in agriculture. And we really wanted the visitor to be able to connect with farmers and farm workers and understand really the labor of love that is behind everything that we eat. In this area, we really have focused on irrigation and water.
Construction of the Grand Coulee Dam made irrigation possible for areas like Quincy, turning the desert into the perfect place for farmland.
So 7 to 9 inches of precipitation a year here is all we get.
Wow.
So the irrigation is very, very
thank goodness
important.
for irrigation.
Yes. Here's a little piece of dry land. That's what this all looked like prior to the water coming. Okay, so now we're going to move into the main part of the exhibit room. You may hear, oh, there's Eunice, our sheep.
Eunice. Hi, Eunice.
This is another little interactive that kids love. We've got an apple tree and some weighted apples and these fun little picking bags that you can put on over your neck.
You ready?
Oh, we're going to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Game on.
Game on. All right. Ready? Go. Okay. You have to be gentle but quick is how we try to train the students to do it. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Whoops.
Apple
Applesauce.
down.
It's applesauce. I'm going to let her win. Yay, you got it. Next time you brush your teeth, remember that spearmint you taste grows here, the veggies in your freezer, french fries at your neighborhood restaurant, an apple in your pie may very well be there thanks to Columbia Basin Project and Quincy's dedicated and innovative farmers and farm workers.
Well, Harriet, thank you so much for this wonderful tour, and I can tell that there's so much heart put into this exhibit and that people are going to learn so much from it. I love it.
Thank you. It's really important to us that people understand the heart of a farmer and not just the crop they see on the shelf.
I think you succeeded. Thank you.
In what season do we plant the Walla Walla sweets? Find out after the break.
Coming up, I'm at the Onion making their fabulous French onion soup and some bacon-wrapped onion rings.
Those look decadent.
They are. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh my gosh.
And we're in the kitchen at Second Harvest trying out some old-fashioned onion rings.
We plant the Walla Walla sweets in the fall and harvest them in the summer.
We're back at the Onion where great food and a lively atmosphere combine to create a place full of energy and fun.
It's just a good, well-decorated place, and it's fun to come to. Both like the food. It's laid back, relaxing. Our server knows us.
You can bring kids here, they'd be comfortable. I'd bring grandparents here, they'd be comfortable.
It's upbeat.
Owner Christy Belisle works hard to make the Onion a place the whole family can enjoy.
We are family friendly. We love to see kids in here. That's our next generation of guests, so we do a lot of fun things.
It's definitely laid back. Everyone seems to be having a good time here.
The food's great. The atmosphere is great.
Some unique but local flavors, which I like a lot.
Here it seems like there's more effort put into making the food and making sure the ingredients are, theirs.
We do source everything we can locally. Our produce is fresh and local, but the onions come out of the Walla Walla district or in the Yakima area. They're all Washington. We like to support our state and our local growers.
Yeah.
When you think of Spokane and being downtown and what's fun and a good place to go, the Onion would be absolutely on the list of places that you should go.
Now it's off to the kitchen.
We are back at the Onion, talking about onions with the Onion chef, Lance Bird.
Yeah, we're going to be making our onion soup. We've been selling it since we've been open. We're just going to start chopping up some onion, boys.
You put onions in everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of our thing.
Do you have any tricks on how to keep them from making you cry?
I've been working on that since I started here about 5 years ago, and I haven't found anything yet.
Now we start heating up the pot and add in some butter.
And onion soup is pretty simple, simple ingredients. There's not much
A little
here,
booze,
right?
little onion.
For the chef or for the soup?
I mean, the boss is going to be around today, so let's not.
Next, we take all our onions and dump them in the pot.
So you want the onions to start to get a little translucent, not 100% see-through. And then I always look for just a little brown edge. But if you get that little caramelization, you still get a little crunch.
Yeah. And you go home smelling like onions.
Onions and garlic. That's
awesome.
That's the life of
I
a
love
chef
that.
right there.
Yes.
We always try to buy Washington first, obviously. All of our ingredients, we do our best to make sure that it's within a 300-mile radius.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we deglaze the pan with some sherry and some Worcestershire sauce. Then add some basil and salt. Finally, we add some beef base and some water, bring it to a boil, and then leave it to simmer for 10 to 15 minutes.
While we wait for this, we're going to do our bacon-wrapped onion rings.
You had me a bacon.
Yeah.
And onions. Bacon-wrapped onion rings.
There's a little bit of mozzarella cheese in there, too.
First, cut your onions in half.
Are we gonna use the whole onion for your onion ring? Or
Nope,
no?
just this first outer layer right here.
And so then the rest of the leftover onions then you use.
Right into our onion soup. Oh, look at that. You beat me, and I've been doing this for 5 years.
And it's just that first one?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You'll see that mine just came off really fast.
Oh, you cheated. You cheated.
Cut up your mozzarella into strips, then lay them inside the onion ring. Finally, wrap it all up in some bacon strips.
The main guy that does it, his name's Carl. He can do 40 of these in 30 minutes.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, that took me 5 minutes,
Right.
and I'm his boss.
So, go Carl.
Now you put them in the deep fryer for about 2 minutes.
Those look decadent.
They are. I'm not even gonna lie,
Oh
they
my
are.
gosh.
To finish the soup off, put in some croutons and melt some mozzarella and Swiss cheese over the top.
And boom.
Voila. This is happy food right here.
Really just warms up the soul, I think.
That is so delicious.
And this recipe has not changed once in 45 years.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
To get the recipe for the onions, French onion soup, and bacon-wrapped onion rings, visit wagrown.com.
In 2007, Washington declared the Walla Walla sweet onion its official state vegetable. This is high praise, considering we produce over 300 different agricultural commodities, and most people around the country recognize us as the apple state. Walla Walla sweet onions are prized for their low sulfur content and crispy texture compared to other varieties. All onions are naturally low in calories and fat, but full of savory flavor, which is why they're included in countless recipes. This crunchy vegetable is also a versatile ingredient, as it can be baked, sautéed, fried, grilled, or even eaten raw. But you might be more curious about that unfortunate, pungent odor you encounter when chopping one up. It's actually a defense mechanism that occurs when the onion cells are broken when it's sliced or bitten into, releasing an enzyme that breaks down sulfoxides into a compound that irritates our tear ducts. While an online search will result in many suggestions for reducing this tearful effect, the most practical solution is to use a high-quality and freshly sharpened knife when cutting into your next Washington-grown onion.
After the break, Tomas is visiting Walla Walla River Packing to see what it takes to get fresh onions out of the field and into the stores.
Be thankful the next time you eat an onion. What happens to your food between the field and the grocery store? Today, we're touring Walla Walla River Packing with owner Harry Hamada to find out. Primarily, your focus is the Walla Walla Sweet.
Yeah,
huh?
that's the bread and butter.
So you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I grew my first onion in 1975.
In 1975, right before I was born. They're Walla Walla Sweets, and we're here in Walla Walla. They don't have far to go from farm to packing.
Right. You know, all the fields are probably within a 15-mile radius of here. These onions just came from the field.
Right here, this is about as fresh as it gets.
You know, the dirt's a little damp. They come from the ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little damp. They got, you know, dirt on them. The tops are kind of green sometimes, so you got to dry that down. That way all the dirt, when you run them across our line, comes off. Have a nice, clean onion when you're going into the box. So this is our curing room. I got some heat on here.
Oh yeah,
So-
you can feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the air is
It's coming up through the floor.
coming up through the floor.
And up through the bins.
What would happen to the onions if you didn't have this process?
It just takes them longer to dry down. So they're coming through, see, they're pretty clean.
Oh yeah.
So the onions are getting singulated, going through under the camera boxes. They're getting 28 pictures of an onion at 10 onions per second. They're rotating the onion so you can see different sides. You program it to tell the computer what to keep, what not to keep, where to put it. It dimensionally sized so it knows how big the onion is. So then you tell it which lane to drop it into.
That seems like a lot of work happening very fast.
Very fast, yes. This machine can handle 10 onions per second.
My goodness, and all of those decisions are being made by the computer.
By the computer, oh yeah, I couldn't make them that quick.
So now here's where they're all getting divvied up, right?
Right, yeah, so you got the bigger ones going over here. Each onion gets weighed too, so we know how many pounds we're packing a day.
This used to all be done by hand, is that right?
The camera part, yes. We used to have 4 sorting tables with 3 or 4 ladies per sorting table, picking out the bad ones. you get into a bad lot, you'd have to slow the machine down. This machine is new, so we haven't really had a bad lot, but the theory is that we're not gonna have to slow down.
Right.
We can just keep going.
So I noticed though that the human element isn't completely gone. Once they're kicked out and divvied up, you still have a lot of people here.
Yeah, the camera's not perfect. It gets the majority of them, but they're not perfect.
Gotcha.
And you have to decide, you know, he can program it any way you want. It's not perfect.
Gotcha.
And bad onions will get through into the good ones. We want to make sure we get a good product to the stores. You know, they're not real busy, so the computer must be doing a pretty good job.
Right, they're not going nuts. Yeah, I gotcha. What makes a Walla Walla sweet so special?
I think there's something about the soil, and then I think the climate has a lot to do with it. When we first started, we would test all the fields, and we never had a field that didn't test sweet. You literally can eat them like an apple.
Yeah, so. I've done so. There's a lot of onions.
We're harvesting them. We're 3 or 4 days into curing. We're packing. Hopefully no more than 3 or 4 days, and they're in the consumer stores.
That's pretty fresh. I think it's time to give packing some onions a try.
Put 10 of those in a bag.
Just put 10 of these in the bag.
All right, hurry up, the table's filling up.
Be thankful the next time you eat an onion. I want to say thank you so much for doing what you do. Really appreciate it. I eat a lot of onions in my life, so you know I really appreciate that. And keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us a tour.
Yep.
Tomas and I are in the kitchen at Second Harvest Food Bank in Spokane, and we're joined by our friend Laurent Zarate, who is the chef and owner of Fleur de Sel Creperie here in Spokane. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a great pleasure. It's so good to see you again.
Love it. Love having you.
Thank you. So we are tasting some recipes from allrecipes.com. And today we get to taste some onion rings.
Oh, excellent.
Right, Walla Walla sweet onions. And have you heard the story of Tomas and my experience in Walla Walla?
Well, about wine or onions?
No, we should have had wine before we did this, but
we got to participate in the Onion Festival.
Onion eating contest.
Yes.
Yeah. Onion eating contest?
Right,
Oh,
so the Walla Walla sweets.
Yes.
You just have an onion in front of you and you eat it like an apple as fast as you can.
I didn't get very far. I think I had one bite and I was
I didn't get very far either. So, but there were a few people who actually ate the whole thing.
Lots of crying?
From us.
There was some crying involved, I think, yeah. But we love the Walla Walla sweets, and they make great onion rings. These are from Jeannie, mom of 3. Crispy coated onion rings like the pros make.
All right, so like I should make?
Like you should
So.
make.
Okay.
You are a pro.
All right, we'll see.
Let's give it a test.
Okay, let's do it.
Right, we have these glorious onion rings.
I know, they look so good, so crispy.
Smell delicious.
I need a beer.
Right? The crispiness is perfect.
That batter isn't too overwhelming. It's just a nice amount of batter. It isn't too thick and cakey on there, so you can really taste that onion.
What I like is that the onion is cooked enough that you can bite into it and take off a piece and not have the full onion pull right out.
And burn your chin.
It's melting, but it has to do with the slice. You know how it was sliced? Not too thick, pretty thin.
Yeah, that's true.
And and well cooked, like you said, deep fried enough. I like the sweetness of the onions. You know, those onions, they are not strong, they are not too powerful.
Yeah.
They're really mild,
So,
right?
and they're delicious.
Christina says that these onion rings are absolutely perfect. My husband fell in love with me all over again.
Oh, that's a good way to keep a couple.
Just took an onion ring.
Yeah, just make onion rings.
Rekindle your romance with onion rings. Fit Mom of Two says she chose to bake them instead of frying them. So she drizzled olive oil onto a dish so that they would get crispy, and she loved it. And she added some different spices like thyme, basil, and rosemary to the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And then she sprinkled cheese on top.
Oh, you could even put the cheese in the
with the breadcrumbs.
Yes, or even the batter. And I like the idea of baking them. You know, they're not going to be as crispy,
right?
But you use a silicone pad like this; they don't stick.
Right.
And put in the very hot oven, 400 degrees, and that will do it. It will. They will roast.
It's a good alternative from Fit Mom of Two.
Thank you, Fit Mom of Two. And thank you, Jeannie, Mom of Three.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Yes, so good.
To get the recipe for these old-fashioned onion rings, visit wagrown.com.
So as you can see, onions can do a lot more than just make you cry when you slice them. They have layers and they add a multitude of flavors to any dish. That'll do it for this episode of Washington Grown. Thanks for watching.